Welcome to Weekly Digest, where we highlight the work of ministers of government as they push the administration's development agenda. Picking up from where we left off last week. Residents of Hiowa Village in the Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo region will benefit from recent drainage upgrades undertaken by the Ministry of Public Works to mitigate flooding. Minister the Honourable Bishop Juan Edgell visited the worksite recently and inspected new culverts and structures installed through an $8.3 million contract awarded to D&R Construction and Machinery Rental. The climate resilient project is 90% complete.
Overall, what we have to manage in the region is ensuring that the bridges are adequately maintained. We have measures in place to deal with the high water season.
Minister within the Ministry of Public Works, the Honourable Deodat Indar, on Sunday announced a 38.5% reduction in rice transportation cost for Leg 1 Region 3 farmers. This move will reduce the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on rice farmers on the island.
I made appeals to His Excellency, and he has agreed with me that we should do the same for Leg 1 as well. So I just want to say to you that I've walked out to Transport and Harbour, General Manager, Ms. Morchant, and the Traffic Manager. I've sat and I worked with them, and they calculated the costs.
Minister Indar said government will continue to engage the millers to ensure the 306 farmers there receive substantial benefits from the initiative. Several communities in Region 4 on Sunday last benefited from the distribution of food hampers and sport gear. The initiative was undertaken by the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. Minister the Honourable Charles Ramson Jr. says the hamper distribution is part of the government's ongoing efforts to alleviate the hardships brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Residents of Swan, Hillfoot, Herstelling and Diamond were among the beneficiaries.
COVID has come and has really affected people in a negative way. As a result of that, there's a lot of people who are under a lot of pressure. The persons who are on the remote areas, they are also facing the same kind of pressure and sometimes worse, because they don't have the same kind of opportunities to get the kind of assistance because they live so far away.
The Central Housing and Planning Authority, CHNPA, has awarded $13.9 billion in contracts to begin infrastructure works and the construction of housing units in Regions 3, 4, 5, and 6. The 199 contracts awarded are in keeping with the government's plan to develop 10,000 house slots every year for the next 5 years. Delivering the feature address, Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, the Honourable Dr. Ashni Singh, said the move demonstrated government's commitment to ensuring the dream of home ownership is realised for Guyanese. Minister Singh is calling on the contractors to ensure projects are completed in a timely manner.
We are launching literally a major step in the changing face of Guyana. It is not an exaggeration to say that we're participating in an activity today that will transform lives. There are 10,000 people, 10,000 families out there who are waiting for you to complete these projects so that they can go to their plot of land, put down a fence, put down a foundation, and start paying a mortgage instead of paying the rent that they're paying today. There are 10,000 Guyanese families who are waiting for these areas to become reality. They're waiting on you. And you are building, you are participating, you are contributing to the building of that dream.
Minister of Housing and Water, the Honourable Colin Crowell, emphasised that housing remains a priority for the government.
We understand that shelter is a basic human need, which we all share, and we know that it is essential for a healthy, happy life. It is why we have wasted no time in doing all we can to put the housing drive back on the track after the mess that was left by the last APNUAFC regime.
Meanwhile, Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, the Honourable Susan Rodriguez, reminded the contractors that they are not just working for the government of Ghana, but also for the people. The contracts were signed at the Artichong Conference Centre. The opening of a sub-office of the Ghana National Bureau of Standards in Bartica, Region 7 will empower businesses and provide greater access to government services. Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, the Honourable Onij Walran, who officially opened the office on Monday, noted that it is part of the PPPC administration's efforts to decentralize services.
The opening of this office is a practical demonstration that this administration is serious about business development in Guyana. It is intended to convey that residents in rural Guyana or the outlying areas should in no way feel disadvantaged or disconnected from opportunities available to the rest of the country.
The sub-office is located in the compound of the Regional Democratic Council and offers a wide range of verification services for petrol, gold, scales, and more. Region 2 rice farmers were able to have issues affecting them and their crop production addressed by Minister of Agriculture, the Honourable Zulfikar Mustafa. The minister hosted a community engagement in the region at the Cottonfield Secondary School on Tuesday. Minister Mustafa was able to resolve most of the issues on the spot.
I think that there were some very practical solutions to the problems that, for example, those persons who were affected by paddy bugs, we have since given them help with chemicals to spray those bugs. Those persons who were affected by flooding, almost 700 acres of rice that were lost, we'll be giving back some seed paddy to the farmers, 1 bag per acre, so that they can be able to go back to the land.
Minister Mustafa also met several rice millers following complaints from farmers regarding the price they are receiving for their crops. On Wednesday, Minister Mustafa assured Cane Grove Mahaika farmers of government's continued investment for the advancement of the rice industry. The minister was speaking at the Farmers Exchange Visit and Field Day organized by the Ghana Rice Development Board on Wednesday.
We recognize the importance that this sector plays to our country's GDP. That is why what we have done, we said that we'll reverse all the harsh measures that were on the backs of the farmers in this sector. And we have done just that.
During the exercise, data and experience as it relates to the planting of the GRDB 16 rice variety was also shared with the farmers. Potential homeowners have been given another option for affordable housing financing, with the Bank of Baroda coming on board as another mortgage finance company. The bank is offering loans at very low interest rates that will benefit families in the low-income bracket. Customers borrowing up to $6 million will pay a 4% interest. Those borrowing between $6 and $12 million will pay a 5.95% interest, while a $12 million to $15 million loan will attract a 6.25% interest. A simple signing ceremony was held on Wednesday between the Ministry of Finance and the bank's Managing Director, Mr. Arun Kumar Gupta, at the Artichong Conference Centre. Senior Minister with responsibility for finance, the Honourable Dr. Ashni Singh, said Guyana's coming wealth is opening avenues for economic development and all financial institutions must position themselves to benefit.
We would like to see Bank of Baroda and institutions like Bank of Baroda expand your operations in Guyana and position yourselves to take advantage of the remarkable growth prospects of Guyana. Not only are you providing an excellent service to your customers, but indeed there is a remarkable opportunity for growth for the bank.
Present at the signing ceremony were Minister of Housing and Water, the Honourable Colin Crowell, Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, the Honourable Susan Rodriguez, and Indian High Commissioner to Guyana, His Excellency Dr. K.J. Srivastava. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, the Honourable Mohabir Anil Nandlal, says the government is examining ways to deter property fraud in the wake of increasing incidents of this crime. The AG made this statement on Tuesday during his guest appearance on DPI's Government in Action. The Attorney General said that many people are losing their properties through fraud, where individuals are forging documents and selling them.
This type of fraudulent conduct repeatedly have occurred, especially in recent times, with alarming prevalence, having regard to, I guess, the boldness which now endow criminals, as well as the fact that you have, I suppose, technological advances made. And the fraud manifests itself in many ways.
Referencing recent incidents where people have been defrauded, AG Nandlal said he has asked the crime chief to launch a full investigation into the matter. The Attorney General advises the public to familiarize themselves with the official gazette and to continuously check the updated publications to ensure their properties are not listed for sale. While copies are available for purchase at the Office of the President, Shiv Chandrapal Drive, Georgetown, it is available free of cost online and can be accessed at officialgazette.gov.gy. Several members of Parliament have responded to the call to be vaccinated as the government rolls out its COVID-19 vaccination campaign countrywide. The willing participants were educated by healthcare workers before receiving their shots. Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honourable Manzoor Nadir, told DPI that he is grateful to President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali for including the MPs in the first batch of vaccines.
It's important that we tell our people that vaccination is something that is highly recommended. And as Speaker, I want to be among the first also to be vaccinated. I feel it's more than necessary. It's not sufficient to talk the talk, but we need to do the walk.
Minister of Labour, the Honourable Joseph Hamilton, said this exercise will change the course of the pandemic and the way in which the world is currently operating.
I would encourage all persons who qualify at this time, because as I understand it, in this wave, persons that are over 60, the government is making available the vaccine to. After that, I think the persons over 50 years old. And so when your time comes, every Guyanese should utilize the opportunity to get vaccinated, because we are told by all the medical experts that the vaccinated population would help to relieve us from this stress that we have had to live with in Guyana and around the world.
Minister within the Ministry of Public Works, the Honourable Deodat Indar, says the Sheriff Mandela Road expansion project is 62% complete and should be finished this year. Minister Indar recently walked the route to inspect the work done to date.
I was just advised by the engineer 62% based on the last report that will receive on 21 February 2021, right? They have 19 sites open on the road. That work has been done. Let me just remind you all, when we came into government, there were 0 sites. The work has stopped. Well, we have 19 sites now.
Vice President, the Honourable Dr. Bart Jagdeo, says Guyana's local content policy will cater for Guyanese at home and in the diaspora. The Vice President says government is working to create a framework that will allow opportunities in the oil and gas sector to be shared equally.
When we say local content, it doesn't mean for people only who live here, but the Guyanese all around the world. Because once you're Guyanese, even if you have a tiny drop of Guyanese blood from your great-grand and something like that, you are part of that local content policy. And so we are working to create a framework so if they have companies or skills, that they become much more marketable in the industry here.
The Vice President noted that while the COVID-19 pandemic has hindered talks, the government recognizes the interest shown by Guyanese and intends to host engagements across the diaspora. Dr. Jagdeo emphasized that all Guyanese must share in the prosperity from the oil and gas sector. Meanwhile, the Vice President says the government is working on a new structure for the Guyana Energy Agency, GEA, to ensure it is better equipped to handle the rapid developments in the oil and gas sector. Dr. Jagdeo was speaking during GlobeSpan 24/7's program Wednesday evening. He says the coalition government failed to implement policies to deal with the rapid changes occurring in the sector. As such, the government is working to safeguard the country's resources and ensure investments in the sector are not delayed. The Vice President says advertisements to build the human capacity can be expected as early as next week.
Every day, there are mundane issues, real-time issues that you have to address, which take up a lot of the technical staff time. Because if they don't fix the permit now, etc., we lose investment, people lose money, etc. So it's a big struggle between the two. And the only way we resolve that is by building the capacity. So even now, we're working on the new structure for the energy agency that will manage the sector.
The new policies will empower the government by ensuring oil companies are held accountable for the sums spent here. As Guyana continues to combat the spread of COVID-19, the Ministry of Health is reporting that to date, 15,524 citizens have received the COVID-19 vaccine countrywide. Minister the Honourable Dr. Frank Anthony says the government is pleased with the pace of the vaccine rollout. He's encouraging more people to get vaccinated.
Many persons are coming forward to take the vaccine, and we are very pleased with that. We'll be ramping up the rollout because we want as much people as possible and in the fastest way possible to get this, because once they get the vaccine, that protection starts, and we are eager to put these vaccines in people's arms rather than keeping it in one of the freezers that we have.
Stakeholders can look forward to major improvements in the local logging sector as government makes strides to end illegal logging practices. Minister of Natural Resources, the Honourable Vikram Bharat, made this recommitment on Friday as he addressed an event hosted in observance of International Day of Forest, which falls on Sunday.
We need to curb illegal logging. Illegal logging destroys the forest or environment. It paints a bad picture on the Forestry Commission in Guyana, and it creates unfair competition for the legal loggers, people who are paying their acreage fee, their royalties, their taxes.
11 secondary school students from across the country will be given the opportunity to participate in the annual Youth Leadership Development Program. The program is a partnership between the Ministry of Education and the People's Republic of China. The selection competition was officially launched on Friday with the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding. Education Minister the Honourable Priya Manikchan says this is in keeping with the ministry's mandate to develop well-rounded students.
This partnership advances what the Ministry of Education believes in and has begun, which is that we must develop rounded citizens who are fantastic academically, but citizens who understand that that gift of being academically good would be useful in only in so much as it is applied towards making other people's lives better. And we try very hard in the classroom to impart that kind of overall teaching and thinking in our students. Anything that could help us advance that process is always welcome.
The competition is open to students in grades 8 to 10 and aims to develop cognitive, emotional, and civic skills. It also allows for the display of leadership abilities and talent. The Ministry of Human Services and Social Security has implemented a system to ensure the protection of abused individuals who reach out for help through the 914 toll-free hotline. Minister the Honourable Dr. Vindhya Prasad gave this assurance during Friday's media conference on gender-based violence.
Immediate intervention would require officers to contact the police directly if there are issues that require immediate intervention to take a person or a child to safety. That has been occurring. And of course, those who are in situations that do not warrant immediate attention, the officers will intervene, whether it's counseling or whether it's linkage to our support services.
17 operators currently handle the 24-hour 914 emergency line on a shift system, with plans to expand the staffing to 20. 25 entrepreneurs have been recognized by the Small Business Bureau for their outstanding service over the last year, even as the country battles with the COVID-19 pandemic. Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, the Honourable Onij Walron, who addressed the entrepreneurs at the awards ceremony, encouraged them to continue utilizing the services available to them through her ministry and the Bureau.
See them as palpable recognition of your arduous work and fortitude. Equally important, let this award inspire those who are considering business or thinking about abandoning their operations. The theme for this evening could not be more apt. Resilience, innovation, and ingenuity are now watchwords if any business expects to survive this pandemic period.
Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, the Honourable Nigel Darmlal, has commissioned Cell 2 of the Higgs-Bosch sanitary landfill site. The minister said the commissioning brings government a step closer to improving sanitation management. Cell 2 is a semi-aerobic landfill that allows faster deterioration of solid waste, which is environmentally friendly.
This facility ideally was supposed to be servicing the municipal waste of Georgetown and wider Region 4, but now we also have, because we don't have a similar facility in Region 3, the waste from Region 3 also comes here. Across the country too, we have facilities in, but much more minute compared to what we have here in the different towns, except anywhere in Region 5 and 3, everywhere else has quote-unquote a landfill, but not to this magnitude.
Cell 2 features perforated pipes covered with rubble and allows for faster stockpiling of waste. Over 500 residents of Tushen and surrounding Region 3 communities benefited from a wide range of services offered by the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security during a public outreach on Saturday. Speaking at the opening of the event at the Tushen Primary School, Minister the Honourable Dr. Vindhya Prasad explained that the aim is to ensure every citizen has access to the services offered by her ministry.
We're not asking you to come centrally to access the services. We are here to serve you with humility and to solve any issues that you have pertaining to the ministry. We believe in service. We're putting the human back into service because this is human services, and this ministry deals with everything.
Minister Prasad also encouraged residents on a number of initiatives the ministry will be implementing to eradicate social ills in society. That's it for this edition of Weekly Digest. For these and other government-related information, do log on to our website dpi.gov.gy and our social media platforms as well. Goodbye.